Okay, good afternoon. We are doing Spartan class today, or it's going to be more like one of the old school lean and mean programs where it's just dumbbells. That's all we're going to be doing. We'll do some body weight warm up in a second, and then we'll get on with, we'll do some foam rolling, and we might do a bit of a foam roller tutorial today. Very, very humid out here today. So I think we're happy to go a little bit slower and have a few more breaks. Yeah. So if you're watching this on Zoom, I don't know, maybe save this for a hot day, or maybe save it for a day that you don't really feel like doing super, super quick, because this will be a slower program today. Okay, we're at Civic Park today, so we will make use of Civic Park. Let's go over to the wall. Let's do some just some jumps on the wall. Now, if you're watching recording on Zoom, if you have something to jump up on, great. Otherwise, we can do standing broad jump and back pedal. We're just going to do 30 seconds of that. So however many reps you can do in that time. Ready? In 3, 2, 1, 30 seconds of jumps. Off we go. "15 seconds gone, 15 seconds to go. In 5 seconds, we're going to put our hands on the wall and do push-ups. Or if you're watching on Zoom, just regular push-ups in 3, 2, 1, and go. So regular push-ups are fine. "10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now let's do some miscellaneous cardio. So outdoor people will run up to the tree and back. If you're on Zoom, just miscellaneous cardio. Could be running in your lounge room, mountain climbers, high knees, star jumps, skipping, whatever you'd like to do for the next 20 seconds. Should take 30 seconds for the outdoor guys to get out and back. "15 seconds remaining. Okay, there we go. That was 1:30. So now we'll have 30 seconds break, and we're going to repeat that 2 more times. That's our warm up. We have Liana joining us on Zoom now. How are you, Liana?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good. All right. Good, good, good. You're joining us just in the middle of break time, so that's good. First thing we're going to be doing is standing broad jumps, 30 seconds. We'll be starting in 10 seconds time. There's no minimums or maximums. It's just 30 seconds. We will begin in 3, 2, 1, and off we go. So jumping forward if you're on Zoom, and then back pedal back. Try and get your arms working with you rather than against you. So land down in that squat, arms forward as you jump, and then back pedal, back pedal, back pedal. When you get back to the beginning, have those arms back, ready to go. That counts for you outdoor people as well. Arms back, and then go. 3, 2, push-ups. Amazing what a bit of humidity does to your energy.
I don't even know if I can play it.
Oh, I think you can, because this isn't difficult. Yeah, that's right. We do, in theory. That's going ahead regardless. I'm not changing that. All right, we've got 10 seconds left of push-ups. 3, 2, 1. Miscellaneous cardio. Outdoor people, run. So high knees, skipping, mountain climbers, whatever you'd like to do on Zoom. 15 seconds. All right, let's bring it in. I think we can skip the last round of that warm up. I just looked at my clock. Well, I want to do that foam rolling tutorial, so we'll get. Okay, So let's grab our foam rollers. We'll just go through just the basics of foam rolling, even though I know we've been foam rolling for a while. Just going to go through some nice simple stuff. It's always good to have a bit of a refresher. So we'll go through the main ones. Quads, glutes, hamstrings, upper back. Let's start with upper back. So I always start with my foam roller just at the base of my neck. So at the top of thoracic spine or the base of cervical spine. Hands up behind your head like so. And our goal on the foam roller is to roll back and imagine the rollers pushing your spine upwards, basically. Keep your butt along the floor and try and keep your elbows as low to the floor as you can. You might get a couple of cracks as you do this. Breathing in as you come forward, breathing out as you go back. And the goal, as you can see there, I've got my head on the floor, is to try and get your elbows as close to the floor as you can. That's a combination of thoracic spine mobility and also chest flexibility. What you can do if you find a spot that's particularly tight, you can just stop here. And that's where you can do your chest stretch and try and get those elbows back. Now, the two big mistakes I see people making on thoracic spine mobility or foam rolling is they kind of use it like a jump, and you kind of launch yourself up like this, and they'll start here and then they'll kind of go up like that, and the butt stays down, but now my upper body's up. All that's done is just emphasize that rounded upper back posture. Whereas what we want to do is get our thoracic spine to go in. Our thoracic spine naturally goes out, so we're trying to just push it in and get those vertebrae moving a little bit, like so. The second thing is the exact opposite of that, where they aim their upper body down, but they lift their bum up. And again, you're not really doing anything. It's probably better than the previous one I mentioned, but by having your bum up, you're not applying that pressure. So keep your butt down, keep your ribs down, and keep your elbows down. That's how we roll our thoracic spine. That should be good by now. One last one you can do on that. You can hang out sort of in the middle there. Rest your head on the floor, looking back behind you. Big breath in. You can see I've got my hands up here, pointing to the sky. Big breath in. And then as I breathe out, hands go back behind my head. And the goal is to get those hands on the floor. Big breath in as it comes forward. Breathing out as they go back. A lot of parallels between this and downward dog out of interest, the muscles that we use. If I flip you over, it actually kind of looks like a downward dog, or at least with the upper body. Okay. How you doing there, Sherry? Are you aiming for the floor yet, or is that it?
This is it.
Ah, right, okay. Almost. Almost. Maybe come to a few more athlete classes. What do you reckon? Okay. Quads. So I have the entire thing and I sat right in the water. Why? Man. Okay, so foam roll in the quads. I always prefer to do one at a time. So let's start with it directly above the kneecap. Or sorry, when I say above the kneecap, I don't mean on the kneecap. I mean as in an inch above your kneecap towards the middle of your body. From here, hands directly underneath shoulders, and I've got it under my right leg. My left leg is cocked at the hip and the knee. Now, the reason for this is I want to go back like that, and now see I've got my arms out straight, and my leg is now cocked, ready to go. That's where I'm going to use that leg to push forwards. So now I've got my left leg straight. As I push back with my arms, and then I can push forward with my left leg. And I don't need to put my right foot on the floor at all. It just glides. Now I can just glide back and forward, pushing forward with the foot, pushing back with the hands, pushing forward with the left foot, pushing back with the hands. I can change my angles up. Your quad is made up of 4 muscles, hence quadricep. So we can change our angles and go on the inside, on the outside. And you can see this format's still the same. Now I'm directly on the outside. Still the same thing. See, I've got my left foot tucked up. It pushes me forwards. And in this case, I'm only using one arm to push myself back. Just find angles that work for you. Liana and other pregnant people may find the outside quite tight. That's because as your hips start to open up a little bit, those ITBs, the guys on the outside, will start to be stretched even more. So you might get a bit of relief from rolling the outside. Let's change legs if you haven't already. So start with the hands directly underneath. My right leg's out straight. And as I push back, my right knee cocks. And then as I push forward, my right leg, my hands come underneath me. Back and forward. You can apply as much pressure as you like. If you want more pressure, just bend your elbows, stay lower. If you want even more pressure, by the way, anybody want any more pressure? Sherry? Yep, great. Then put your second leg on top of your first leg. So now you only have one point of contact on the ground, being your hands. All the rest of your weight is on the foam roller. So that's how, yeah, that's a bit of a step up, isn't it? One final thing you can do for your quads on your foam roller is you find a spot that you like or dislike, depending on how you think about it. Might be somewhere here in the middle. Okay, we can just sit here, bend our knee, and then straighten it out. And then each time, just try and get in a little deeper, try and pull the foot back a little bit more. That's another one you can do. Hamstrings. Don't really waste my time doing hamstrings on the foam roller. Hamstrings don't really, it's hard to really get into them pretty deep. I'll use the spiky ball for that, so I'll get back to that later. Other ones we can do on the foam roller, I like doing calves on the foam roller, particularly for girls. If you're wearing heels, you're gonna have tight calves. So basically it's the same format. Hands on the floor, but just in reverse. So hands on the floor, I push forward with the hands and I push back with the leg. Push forward with the hands, push back with the left foot. And then everything we just said applies. If you want to make it more difficult, just simply wrap that leg around. But now you've got to do everything with your arms, obviously. So it's a bit harder on the arms. And it's much harder on the calves. Same thing, change your angles up. Inside of the shin, outside on those ankle stabilizers as well. When you're ready, you can change sides. Foam rolling isn't nothing effort-wise as well. I don't know about you, but you've got to use your arms quite a bit to go back and forwards. Shoulders are starting to feel it a bit. Once you're done, hang out. Okay, let's grab our spiky balls. Did we bring 3 down here, by the way? You got 1. That's all right. No, you can have yours. I'll demonstrate using Sherry. So Sherry, do you want to pop over here? No, not on the wet spot, just in the dry spot. Okay, so the main ones I like to do on spiky ball are glutes and hamstrings. Let's do glutes first. So place it underneath your butt cheek. Let's go right butt cheek first. And then place your right foot on top of your left knee. Right foot on top of left knee. So see how it's crossed over? Yeah, now automatically you feel that because that glute's now stretched out. And just roll around until you find the spot that is best for you. You'll find it there somewhere. You got it? Yeah. Okay. Now what you can do is just with that right knee, just open and close the door. Open and close the door, and then you can get in a little bit deeper. Yeah.
What's the point of this? Like, why do you need to stretch all this?
So Sherry just asked, what is the point? Well, why do you need to stretch?
Well, stretch all of these parts that weren't hurting me before I put the ball on it.
Why do I need to stretch things that weren't hurting before I knew about it? So, okay, why would we stretch our, okay, well, I'll go back a step. Muscles work as a finely tuned balancing act between antagonist and synergist, okay? So I think I mentioned the other day in athlete class, you wouldn't know, you weren't there. that every muscle has an opposite, and every movement we do has an opposite movement. So okay, so when you're doing a squat, for instance, which I'm doing now, my quads stretch to allow me to go down, and my hamstrings pull me down. When I stand up, my hamstrings stretch to allow me to come up, and my quads do the work. Okay, does that make sense? Everything works together. Everything should be perfectly balanced. However, if one side of the equation is uneven, so if one side is doing more work, or basically if one side's tighter than the other one, if one side's weaker than the other one, you'll eventually get pulled out of that perfect balance, which I don't really know anybody that has just absolute perfect posture all the time. As a result, by being pulled out of perfect balance, it means we'll be pulled out of perfect biomechanics. So when we do things, let's say a squat, okay, perfect example, let's look at me squat here. This is not what a perfect squat looks like because my biomechanics aren't perfect anymore. They're not bad, but they're not perfect. By being imperfect, two things. One, you can't lift as much because it's just not the way it's meant to be done. You're not as strong as you potentially could be. Two, your risk of injury goes up significantly because you're now trying to force the square peg into the round hole. Does that make sense? Yeah. In conclusion, get stronger and avoid injury. I probably could have just said get stronger and avoid injury, but that's the long answer. Okay, next one I like to do is underneath the hip. So I've mentioned this one before. So the muscle we're working here is TFL, tensor fascia latae. It goes about here. So if my hip bone is here and to here, it's that soft bit in the middle. So about there. Yeah, okay. So place it there, place it on the floor, and then just try and put some weight down on it. How you doing there, Liana? You all right?
I've misplaced my spiky ball. I do have one, but I'm just watching.
Oh, that's all right. You're just watching and learning. Okay, cool. You can do this one with a foam roller as well. This one we're doing right now. Yeah, these two can be done with a foam roller. It's just not as good. Now, I always say on this one, if you're not sure if you're on the right spot, you're not. You'll know when it's on there. So let's come down on the floor again. Yep, so about there. Just place the ball on the ground. Yep, and then just lie down on top of it, and we'll just kind of work into it, and we'll find that spot. So just move up and down a little bit, about there, I reckon. Yep, and then come back here. Straighten out this leg. Straighten out your bottom leg as well if you can. Okay, and then found it?
Yeah, it's working.
Does it hurt?
Yeah.
Then it's on the right spot. You'll know when it's there. Okay, now what we can do is just put our top leg at the back, bring our front leg forward a little bit, bend the knee a little bit. Okay, and we can just wiggle around, find that spot. Ah, yes. Yeah, that was it, wasn't it? Yes. Hurts, doesn't it? Yeah. I usually say, I think I said this last time, if you can't feel anything, you're not in the right spot. If all of a sudden it feels like, you know, it's shooting, stabbing pain, then you're in the right spot. Purpose of this guy, tensor fascia latae, rotates your knees inwards. So if this guy is tight, which it is on pretty much everyone, when you're doing squats and lunges, your knees will have the tendency to roll inwards, which is why A, we work so hard with the booty band to hold our knees out, and B, we try and stretch this guy so he doesn't pull our knees in. As a result, if this guy is flexible and your glute external rotators are strong, you'll have perfect knee alignment, and then you'll be able to squat heavier, get less injuries when we run, that sort of thing. One of the most common injuries that anybody gets is patella tendonitis, which is just the quads are tight and the tendon on the front of the knee gets irritated. And that's usually because of shin splints. That's another one where the tendons here get extra overworked. And it's usually because the knee is rotating inwards. So if we can keep our knees straight, and when we do our lunges, we make sure our knees don't do that. That's what we do this for, and that's why we avoid, or how we avoid injury. Okay, They're probably the main ones I like to do with the spiky ball. Yeah, you can do your upper back. So similar to, okay, so I'll just use Sherry as an example here. Just up against the wall, you can put your spiky ball just here, and then you can press yourself up against the wall. And then what we do is we put our arm out in front like so, and then just make little circles with your arm. That's another way you can do that. You can do it on the ground, but I like it up against the wall. We won't do too much of that one now. People ask, can you do shoulders? Not really. All the good stuff on shoulders is on deep on the inside, and it's actually quite hard to get to it. So spiky ball doesn't really work for that. So like rotator cuffs, nah, you can't really roll your rotator cuffs. Okay, how are we doing for time? 20 minutes to go. That's about what I wanted to do their circuit. So let's get on with things now. So what we'll do is we'll grab our dumbbells. I have a selection of dumbbells out here for you guys. Zoom, grab the dumbbells that are appropriate for you. We won't change the weight of the dumbbells too much. So I reckon, and we're gonna have a few more breaks today. So the goal is to go a little bit heavier. It's not like sweat class where it's go, 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 go. Let's maybe pick 7 to 10 for girls, 15 plus for boys if you can. So first exercise, squat press. We're just gonna do 10 and then have a break. So I want a deep front squat up into a shoulder press, dumbbells out on the front. We will begin in 3, 2, 1. Off we go. Deep, deep, deep. And then up and press. Breathing in as we go down, breathing out as we come up. Want nice strong abs on the way down as well. So don't let those dumbbells pull you forwards. You are the boss, not the dumbbells. Once you're done, just chill. We'll put them on the floor. 10, slightly more than you'd want it to be at this weight. Elbows up as we're going down. Okay. And done. Okay. Exercise number 2. We'll do warrior row. So we've done this before. I'll stand side onto the camera just so we can see. So first thing we're going to do is practice getting into our warrior pose. So from here, warrior 3 out of interest. So from here, tilt to the hips, just like a deadlift, but I've got my back leg pointed out nice and straight. That's our starting position. Okay, now I find there's 2 things. 1, don't get wussy with that back leg. Get it right up there. That's going to help your upper body counterbalance. 2, point those back toes. I find if your toes drop, often the leg drops. So holding, and then we've got our 2 dumbbells, and then we're rowing. We'll do 5 on one leg, 5 on the other leg. Try and get that back leg as straight as we can. Ready. Yep, Liana, perfect. Sherry, perfect. Nick, pretty good. Straighten out that back leg a little bit more and point the toes out. Point the toes a bit more. Point, point, point. That's the one. Once you've done your 5, change sides.
My front leg's always very bent.
Which one? The one that's on the ground? Bent as in bent this way, or that's okay. That's okay. So why would that leg be a bit more bent? Hamstring flexibility. The more flexible your hamstrings are, the more you'll be able to keep that leg straight. However, if you have a little bit of tension in it, you bend it just a little bit, you'll probably have a bit more strength. So the more stretched a muscle is, the weaker it is. So if we can bend it just a little bit, that'll give you a bit more stability. That's why I don't really demonstrate it like that. I usually go about there. And if you're really tight and weak, then yeah, like this will be even better. Forward lunges we're going to do. So holding our 2. Now, if you have something you can step onto, Zoom, maybe if you can use a book or something like that, you could. But if you don't have anything, that's fine. We're just going to hold our 2 dumbbells and just big step forward and then coming back up. Now, what I'd like to do here, I'm not sure if you can see my heels. I'd like to come forward until my front heel actually comes off the ground. That's what I want. I'm not sure if you saw that on Zoom. I'll take a step back. So stepping forward, front heel slightly off the floor and up. But have a look at that angle that I get on that front leg. Ready? Off we go. 10 each leg. So get that weight all the way forward. Don't just do a token, take the heel off the floor at the bottom. Get all that weight forward on that knee. So slightly shorter step, Sherry, so you can, yeah, that's because you're finding it hard to get forward. Yep, Nick, that's perfect. That's better, Sherry. Liana, good. Get that weight all the way forward, 10 each side. Try and keep your back hip flexor nice and open. You're not just collapsing forward. Slightly shorter step, Nick. Liana done. Oh no, not Liana, not done. Just Liana having a break. Okay. Hip thrust chest press. So we know how to do this one. This is where we're lying on our backs, dumbbells in position, pressing up, and then lift your hips. Liana, you should be all right for this one, even though normally lying on your back isn't so good for pregnant people because you're lifting your butt. You should be fine. So have a lie down on your back and then lift the butt. And you should just be having your upper back, your shoulders on the ground. 10 reps. Elbows in at 45 degrees. That's it.
Heels on the ground.
Heels on the ground, dug in hard. Dig those heels in, lift your butt, squeeze your butt. Elbows 45 degrees. And at the top, dumbbells just touch at the 45-degree angle. Yeah, good, Liana. Keep that butt up. Dumbbells look perfect. 10, and then when you're done, just place them to the side. Okay, let's pop up. Split leg deadlift. Okay, so our feet. So this is standard width for a deadlift. So I've got my 2 dumbbells. This is standard deadlift. What we're going to do is have one slightly in front and one ever so slightly back. You can see it's not very far. It's maybe about 20 centimeters. At the top, I'm still standing tall on my left leg here. So I'm not here. It's not a lunge position to start. Hip is directly above the foot. From here, I still just do a standard deadlift. But now, because this leg's rendered sort of useless, all the weight is now on my left leg, okay? I mean, in theory, it's like this. If you can do this, great. But let's just believe that toe on the floor, put all the weight on that front leg, 10 on one, 10 on the other. That's it, and then slide that butt, squeeze that butt. So you want to squeeze, you got your left leg forward, just focus on squeezing that left butt as hard as you can. And put as little weight on your right foot as you possibly can. Liana, bring your left foot back a little bit or bring your right foot forward, one of those two. All right, now stand up a bit taller at the top. Yeah, walk forward with your right foot, I reckon, Liana. Yeah, that's about it there. Yeah, now go. Yes, much better. Yeah, now you're standing up tall at the top. That's good. Okay. I'm actually going to break it up. Before we do a 10 on the other leg, we're going to do a tricep. Yeah, give your wrist grip a bit of a break. So let's hold our dumbbell lengthways. Actually, I'll let you choose either lengthways or like that. Behind the head, tricep extension. So holding it directly above the head. Some people like the width ways. Some people like narrow. It's up to you. 10 reps of this. Try and get the hands down as low as you possibly can. Keep the elbows tucked in. And keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Yes, you can. So you want to try and get that dumbbell as low as possible. Bend the elbows, bend the elbows, bend the elbows. Yeah, so I personally like the wide. Other people, the other. It just depends on your shoulders. Let's go that one next round. Okay, now let's do 10 deadlifts on the right-hand side.
Gosh, I need to go to lift plus, don't I? What leg did I do? I forget.
You did left leg first. So down on the right and then standing up tall and push that right glute forward. Imagine you are an amputee. You just have one leg for deadlifting. Nick, just get the chest out a bit more tailbone. So really push that right hip out. Yeah, that's better. And Liana, they were good. You're done, Liana? Okay, we're back to the beginning. Okay, give your fingers a bit of a stretch. Feel that in the hamstrings? Yeah, then you did it right. Okay, we're back to the beginning. Squat press was our first one. 10 reps. Do you need a quick drink or you're okay? Okay, let's get on with it. So weight in the heels. So weight in the heels, big breath in as we go down, abs switched on, breathing out as we come up. Yeah, good, Liana. Keep those knees tracking out, guys. This is what we were talking about earlier with that spiky ball. Good, good, good. Number 2 was warrior row. So nice and slow. Take your time to get into the warrior pose first and then start your row. Remember, a little bit of a bend in that front knee is actually a good thing. All right, away we go. So back leg nice and high, point that toe, squeeze the back glute, drop your chin down, look down at the floor. Once you've done 5, you can change. Great work, Sherry. Much better, Nick, that's good. Liana, good. Back leg, great, Liana, well done. Good. Excellent. Next was the forward lunges. So the reason I said if you have something to step on, it just aids getting a little bit more depth in that back knee. But if you don't, that's where we just take the heel off and just get into that front leg. So see that angle that I've created there? That's what we're after. All right, let's do it. 10 each leg. Let's alternate these, just 10 on each leg. Yeah, 10 on, yeah, you can go 10 on one, 10 on the other, it just cooks that one leg. So I find it certainly a lot more palatable if I alternate. What's the difference between the types of lunges? A forward lunge, you're going to definitely work your quads more. A back step lunge, you're going to work your glutes more. A walking lunge is probably about 50-50 of each because you have to use your quads to slow down as you go forward and then your glutes to push as you stand up. Almost there, guys. Okay. Next, we had the lay down chest press. How you doing, Sherry? Ready for home time?
You're not really giving us a break like you said you would.
There's been some breaks. What are you doing right now? What about all my talking breaks? Breathing out as you press up. Breathing in as it comes down. Remember, elbows 45 degrees, and you want those dumbbells tapped together in the center at the 45-degree angle as well. Squeeze your glutes. Just reassess, recheck in. Are my glutes as tight as they could be? Is my butt as high as it could be? When you're done, place them to the side and stand up. Okay, split deads on the left leg. So remember, left leg directly underneath you, right leg slightly back, maybe 2 or 3 inches. Yeah, 3 inches. Focus all your energy on that left glute. Make sure all the work is at the hip, folding there, tailbone out, chest up. Yeah, that's much better. And then you'll really feel that left glute a lot more. For you, Liana, you got to really focus on pushing that butt forward at the top. For anyone, okay, before we do our right leg, Liana, we've got our tricep extension, then we'll do the right leg. On this, yeah, that's why we're breaking it up. So tricep extension. Just back on those deadlifts. Where you go, Sherry? Just back on those deadlifts. So that's much better. Breathing in as the dumbbell goes down. Breathing out as you blow it away. You can do kneeling as well, out of interest. Let's finish off this set. And last one. I mentioned the other day in athlete class, I think we were doing a hip flexor stretch. I'm not sure if you were there, Liana, and we were talking about the tighter your hip flexors are, the harder your glutes have to work to open up that joint. So like when you're doing that hip thrust chest press, if you've got really tight here at the front, you've got to work that butt harder just to open up. The more flexible you are, the easier it is. For Liana, for any pregnant person, what starts to happen is tummy starts to come in front and tailbone starts to shift out, hip flexors get tight. So you've got to really squeeze that butt hard to lock in at the top in this deadlift. Okay, you just got to work harder than everybody else. Lots of other people have tight hip flexors out of interest, not pregnant people. They have to work hard too. Make sure we're squeezing our butt first, Sherry, not arching our back. So butt goes back, keep your abs tight, squeeze your glute, drive it forward. Use this slower pace to focus on what needs to be done. Okay. Nice work. The current time is 1:14:50 seconds. That last round took 8 minutes. Do you want to do another round? I'm hearing no. I'm hearing it's been a very long week and we've had enough. Are you in agreement, Liana?
Especially if I'm trying to go tomorrow. I didn't even want to
Yes.
lift this heavy, actually.
So, if you're watching the recording and you found that maybe you're not tired yet, maybe it wasn't 33 degrees and 150% humidity, maybe you'd like to do a third round. In which case, I don't know, you could just rewind at 8 minutes and do it again. Or those exercises were squat press, warrior row, forward lunges. What was the next one? Forward lunges. Then it was lay down hip thrust chest press, deadlift, tricep extension, deadlift again. They were our 7 exercises. So if you'd like to do it another round, be my guest. Hope you learned something from today with the foam rolling tutorial. I will see you all on Monday for something. I'm not sure what yet, but it'll be something. So have a good weekend, everybody. I will see you soon. See you, Liana.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Tim, when I was doing the tricep extension,
Oh, yes.
for your everything to click,
Is it normal for everything to click? No, but where were the clicks happening?
I think shoulder blades.
Could be shoulders.
Around the shoulders.
Yeah. So Sherry mentioned this as well out of interest. So let's talk about this. So with your tricep extension, let me see. I'll kneel. So I'm here, right? Perfect. See how my elbows are tucked really tightly in? That's the goal. Now, what happens if my elbows go out like that? It's actually as the elbows go out, the shoulder rotates inwards. See how that happens? That's less than ideal. And what happens is the tendons can just kind of flick up against each other. You know, like when you make a clicking sound? Yeah. So it's not really causing any permanent damage, but it's not ideal. So what we want to do is elbows in is actually external rotation. See how my hands are rotated out now? Yeah, that's right, like that. So we want our elbows in the whole time. That's our strongest position. And that's the position of the way we're supposed to move. Perfect example, Sherry, let's say you and I are in a fight. So let's stand here. Show me how you'd push me away and stop. Okay. You can see her, just relax. See her elbows, they're in external rotation. What she didn't do was go like this to push. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
This is a weak position. So your natural position, without even thinking about it, ready and go.
Oh, even like a push-up.
Exactly. Your natural position is external rotation. You don't think about it, it's just what it is. No one does this, which is what was probably happening when you were doing your tricep extension. See what I mean? So tuck them in, tricep, tricep, tricep. And if you can't...
Band to keep your elbows together.
Yeah, you probably could put a band to tie your elbows together. It just seems like it would probably be hard because you have to put the band on somehow and then grab the dumbbell. So usually there's two reasons we would go into external rotation. And this again goes back to what we talked about right at the very beginning. Antagonists and synergists. One has to be tight, or one has to be flexible, and one has to be strong. The reason our elbows would come out is if the external rotating muscles are weak and if the internal rotating muscles are tight, okay? And tight and weak is a relative term, usually relative to what you're trying to do with it. E.g., you couldn't maintain perfect inwards on the 10 kilo, but you could on the 7.
Yeah.
So that's why
What
we...
muscle is that? Sorry, that was
rotator cuff. Rotator cuff. Well, there's 4 of them, but yeah, infraspinatus. Out of interest, Google it.
So you can't strengthen them. You have to.
You can strengthen them, yes. So you can strengthen them by doing dedicated external rotation exercises. Like if you've ever been to a physio and they've done like band exercises like this, you ever seen people doing that? That's why, to strengthen external rotation. And B, we stretch the internal rotators, such as your lats, which is why we do like downward dogs and child's pose. That stretches those guys. And yeah, pick a weight that's appropriate. That's the main thing. So in conclusion, Liana, no, there's nothing wrong. You're not going to die. Shoulders aren't going to fall apart. But yeah, that clicking is probably just the tendons flicking up against each other. Nothing to super worry about.
Got it.
Cool. I have to run. Thank you, everybody. That was our extra time anyway. I will see you later. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you. Bye.